Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so one of the things that I want to go over is the calculation for the chi-square. So if you're given information such as this, where n is 75, the sample standard deviation for that particular data set is 3.64, and they ask you to find a 95% interval for the variance, then we're looking at a chi-square calculation. And so our formula for this would be simply n minus 1 times the standard deviation squared over the chi-square right, that would be less than or equal to the variance, less than or equal to n minus 1 times the standard deviation of the sample squared again, and this would be the chi-square left value. So what you're probably asking is, since you already have n technically, and you would substitute that into both of these parts of the formula, you already have the standard deviation, you just need to square it for both parts of the formula, and this is what you're looking for. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go to chi-inverse in Excel, and then you're going to put in the values. It asks you for the area, and then it asks you for degree of freedom. So for chi-square right, chi-square left, what you're going to do is you're going to simply do the chi-inverse, and you're going to put in 0.05, comma 74, and then you do it again, chi-inverse, and again this is in Excel, 0.95, and then 74. This will give you the two values you're looking for down here, which you're going to divide into this top part of the equation. Now last night I guess I was a little off because I split alpha in half, and you don't need to. If it's 95%, just remember there's an alpha of 0.05, which is the equivalent of the missing 5%, of which the total of this is 100%. So the only two alphas you're going to use are 0.05 and 0.95. If you look at the chi-square table, there's a chi-square table of values. You can actually see these, and you can see for yourself what the solutions are. And apparently you look like an alien based on this diagram. So anyway, little humor. Alright, so we plug in our numbers. So you would say in this case 75 minus 1 times 3.64 squared, and this over your found value. So let's go out to Excel and let's play. And so I already went ahead and I started computing these for you. So if you look up here real carefully, you'll see right there. See how I have chi-inverse 0.0574? So I'm giving it the degrees of freedom, and that gave me that value, which is over here. And over here I have the chi-square, and I have the 0.9574. And that gives me this value that you see here. This number is also calculated, and all I'm simply doing is multiplying this squared, which is basically what this is, which is the standard deviation of x squared. Alright, and this is your n minus 1, which technically should be lowercase n to be more formal. Alright, and that gives us 74. So 74 is basically our degrees of freedom. So that's what the n minus 1. Alright, so that's your degree of freedom. So what I did here was I went ahead and I computed the values of the product of the numerator for each fraction, and these, like I stated, are the chi-inverse right and left respectively. And then you obtain these two values, and to find the actual sigma you simply take the square root. So if you notice, all I did was take the square root of this value, and here I took the square root of that value. And that's my two areas that I'm looking for. Alright, so I hope this was helpful to you, and if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them.